Good afternoon, everyone. Sorry the video's a bit late this week. Been on night, so not had a chance to do it. First chance we got. Hope you've had a good week. Should we crack on? First things first. 1, 2, 3. Who are we? We are beavers, can't you see? B-E-A-V-E-R-S, beavers. You.
I promise to do my best to be kind and helpful and have fun. Kayla will do our best.
Cubs, do your best.
We will do our best.
Outstanding! Not sitting down, outstanding, upstanding. Come on. Inspection. Let's have a look at you. Let's have a look at the fingers. When did you wash your hands last?
This morning.
When did you have a bath? This month?
Yeah.
Jolly good. When you had a haircut? This year?
Never.
Never. Maybe next week we'll do a bit on how to cut your own hair.
Look how far my hair's gone. All my way to the main.
I think next week's activity we'll do cutting hair. Dead easy. Right. The news. Well. Typical. The news. This week, we've all been allowed out so we can go and play. We've all been allowed out to go and play. We can meet one person, so as long as we stay 2 meters away from them. And the tennis courts are open again. Yay! Ooh, did you play tennis before?
I can only play swing ball.
And that's a good social isolation game because you play it all by yourself.
With my mum.
And with mum. Fair enough. We've also had our first Zoom scout meeting and a Zoom cub meeting. I'll discuss it with the other leaders as to whether we can try and have a go at doing a Zoom beaver meeting, but we'll see how we get on. Anyway, these videos continue unabated. What activities have we got this week? Making some traps, making a campsite, and of course, not of the week. So, without further ado, to our first activity, which is all about making traps.
I feel a bit sick.
Why do you feel sick? Don't. Right, ready?
I think you need to be sick.
Has only done the eat slug spell on him. Do you want to go to the toilet? Glad we recorded the other bit yesterday. Ready? To the garden. So, this week, going to do a bit of a survival skill. Learning how to trap animals ready to eat them. Now, like drinking your own wee and trying to get water out of the plants, this is you'd only really do this if your life was at stake and there was nothing else and no other choice. Morrison's were closed, Asda was shut, even the bargain booze wasn't selling any more sweets. So don't try this at home just to try and capture your little sister or because mum's hidden the Xbox controller. Alright, so we're going to try these, a few little ways of capturing animals and trapping them. Now it's quite a skill, it's never particularly great and accurate, but that means that if you set lots of traps, there is a chance that maybe one of them would work and then you'd get a meal for the day. So, let's have a look at how to build a trap. Can you do the cameras?
Mm-hmm.
Go on then. Right, so we've got a few essential little tools to use. hammer, saw, scissors, string, sticks. So if you were a bit of a survival situation, you'd probably just use a knife if you had one, or an axe. But I've got a few tools at hand, so you could always try this in your garden. Make sure you keep an eye on them. Don't make sure that anything nasty gets caught in them. And certainly, if you're going to be cutting with a saw, have an adult nearby. So, what do we need? Well, now that we can all go for walks in the parks and in the woods, you can find some good sticks. Now, what we could do with is these sticks with little bits sticking out of them. These are really good. So, here's one I've prepared earlier. Bless you. You haven't got the virus, have you?
Hay fever.
Hay fever. Right, so here's a stick. It's got that little notch on the end, and I've just cut it straight flat. So that's going to be my anchor point. Where's another stick? Right, so we'll need something. Now the spring trap we use the power of, say, another tree, and it's going to pick up whatever we trap and dangle it up in the air so it can't get away.
And mine's a lot badder.
Fair enough. So this is going to be our trap bit.
And mine's more painful.
So we need an anchor point to get it into the ground. So we'll get a stick. We'll cut it into the right shape. So what we need, we'll probably cut a spike there so it goes into the ground nicely, and we can cut a little indent into it so that this can jam into it. Okay, so first things first, that'll do. Now we need this to go into the ground, and this just to hook onto it, just there. So I'm going to cut a little V going downwards. Like that. So this can go into the ground, and that can just hook onto it, and that's the bit of the trap that's going to be the bit that sets it. So let's try that. Let's get rid of the end of that bit. Right, and let's put this, let's work this out, about down here, right. There's my little bit there. Ah!
Oh, great.
Luckily, here's one I practiced with earlier. Okay.
Don't knock its head off.
So, we'll get this bit, we'll pull it down, let's see. Don't want it too tight, because if you get it really tight, it's so tight, it's really difficult to set the trap off. So you have to do a little bit of adjustment. Oh, what sort of knot can we tie on here?
Clove hitch?
Good lad. Tie a clove hitch. Right, so we've got this coming down. Let's just test it. There we are, that hangs there.
90%.
That's all right. So, yeah, that's good. And if we just whoop, up it goes. No, we actually want that to stay in, so I'm going to give it a good wallop to get it in, hopefully without snapping it. So we got that down to there. That's great. Now then, what we're going to do, if we do for our snare bit to actually capture the animal, going to do a double thumb knot. just to put a little loop in the end, but it's a fixed loop, so it's not going anywhere. So it won't tighten. There's a little double thumb knot to make a loop in the end. So I feed the other end through, and that's the snare bit. So when an animal sticks its thing in, caps hold of it tight, just tightens up and it won't let go. But if you try and do it too tight, then it really struggles to tighten up. So we need to attach this to our trigger. Another what knot do you reckon?
Thumb knot.
Not a thumb knot. You said it before.
A clove hitch.
Another clove hitch. That would be ace.
What does that mean?
Right, so we'll get another clove hitch on the bottom of here. Just be very gentle because we don't want to set it off. And we'll set that about here. Now, you'd set this generally where you know that animals are always wandering past, say near to a water source or we're near to some food. So, but what you can do is you can also set a trap for them. So if we get a stick and we gently hang this on here, you got that. Now, if we set some bait, he can't have he's got to be defenseless. So if we set a bit of bait on the end of there, oops a daisy. This went on so easily before. Right, there we are. Whoops. So we set our defenseless bait on the end of there, gently hang that, and wait for a wild animal to come and eat it. Dum-de-dum-de-dum. Dum-de-dum-de-dum. Now if you set it better, he gets his... Whoops! Oh, he's escaped. Well, it doesn't always work. So we'll try that again. But as you can see, he comes along here.
You need both hands on.
Both hands dangling off there. So you'd set a bit of maybe some food or something. If you're after rabbits, maybe some nice lettuce leaf. Except if you were that hungry, you probably wouldn't. You'd have it yourself.
Then you'd be caught in the trap.
Right. So we've got our little our bait set up there, and you just have this. If you had wire, what says you'd use traps with wire because that really holds it nicely. But you just have to be just gentle with the string. Try and get it shaped like that. So dragon comes along, goes to try and eat the little girl, the princess, then tries to get away, and oh no, sets the trap off, and he's stuck. How very nice. So have a go at home, pick up a few sticks, see if you can set one of them.
What about my trap?
Oh, another way of doing a trap. Go on, show us your trap. Where's your trap? Right, so this looks like a lot of hard work's gone into it. Is this for catching bears and big animals that will provide a big lunch for you? Go on then, try that. What bait have you put in the middle of it? Lettuce. That'll definitely attract a bear or a lion.
And a pine cone in it.
Oh, and a pine cone for a lion to play with. Oh, and he's fallen in. So how does that work?
Just loads of sticks and
So you've made a big hole, you've put some thin sticks and then put a covering over.
a lizard. One of my teddies.
Oh, and a lizard to eat him and poison him when he falls in.
But it's not. I'm not done with them.
Is it not a poisonous lizard?
Yes, but I'm still not done with them.
What? And then you drop a rock on it.
Yeah, and then this is what I do.
Oh, the peace of the countryside. Oh, and then you eat him. Right, that's not quite how you do it. So, next week, what we're going to do is we're going to get one of Michael's hamsters and we're going to gut it and eat
I don't
it.
have a hamster.
Or your rabbit. So, have a go at trying to make these traps. It's quite a skill. See if you can do it.
Mine's
So the
more
idea-
painful. Mine's even more painful.
So if you're in a really bad situation and you had some string, you'd make these so you've got your... This is sort of the trigger. This bit here's the important bit. It just hooks in on there. And it just works on that principle of... That's always got the pressure to lift things up. And this is your trip wire. So if you can catch the animal in here, that's your trip wire. Another way of doing it is getting your traditional net. Look out.
Oh, wait, can I just do something? Really quickly?
Hang on, just let me do this. So you have your net tied up to the bottom of this, like there. Get your net tied onto that in some sort of way. Have your bait hanging there, and the guy comes along, you see it in all the films, touches something, sets it off, and up they go, stuck in the net. So, have a go for yourself, see how you want, so you get on. Can't remember.
Yeah.
So, if you're going to make traps, just make sure they're safe, you keep an eye on them, don't leave them, and in all honesty, you're probably never going to use them unless it's a life and death situation. So just like the trying to make water out of mud and stuff, you're probably never going to use them unless it's a life and death situation, or you need to catch one of your teddies. Anyway, knot of the week. So this week we're going to use the span loop knot. Now, the idea of this one is so that you can stick a little loop in a piece of string, but you don't have to get any of the ends. So you're just going to tie it in the string, and you can use it sort of either to make handles in a rope or little loops all the way along the rope. You don't have to untie the ends of it if it's hanging up from somewhere high, and it's not going to tighten under pressure. Cameraman. So we've got our rope here. You probably better come in from above. Okay. So imagine today this is tied to the top of a big high cliff, and this is dangling at the bottom, and maybe we're halfway up, and we just need to tie something off just so that we can clip onto it. So we've got our rope. We make a loop. Now, can you try and keep it at the same angle, just so it's easier to watch and demonstrate? Okay, You got it?
Yep.
Right, so we make our loop. Now, depending on how big a loop we want, this is going to be the size of our loop. This end, I'm going to lift that and push it through. Now that's starting to look a bit like the bowline. So we take what loop we are, we're going to take it underneath and through there. So we lift and up through that. Now, once we pull these two ends, that'll tighten. We pull that, So we've still got pressure on here. This doesn't tighten, and if we've got pressure on that from either end, it doesn't come undone, and we can make as many as we want. Loop, loop. Oh, probably not enough rope there for that one, but so you can make another one. So round, loop through, push through that, and through. There's another one. And they're pretty easy to undo because you just pull that, push, and off they come. Think you can do one?
Nope.
Okay, so this week's indoor project, we're going to do making a model campsite. So, for those of you that just happen to have a few little blocks of Lego around, you can always have a go making it out of Lego. So, you ready to give this a go? Ready? Steady? Go! Okay, so, right, so we've got a bit of a campsite going on here. Michael, do you want to show everyone what you've got and describe everything? Just hold it like that. Right, what's everything?
That's a slide with someone fishing, but he got a shark. And
Never had one of them at camp before.
And that's
Oops.
a policeman trying to get him.
Because that happens at camp quite a lot, doesn't it?
And he's the lifeguard. And he's sinking.
Are there any tents on this campsite?
Yeah. The mess tent and 2 sleeping tents. And one here with a door.
That's alright. That's okay. Anything else that we always have at camp?
Ooh, playing games, and that guy has a pie on his head. And roasting marshmallows. And flag break. And some things inside the tents.
Okay, that's pretty good.
Oh, and this guy. He needs.
Who's this
And
guy?
also a lavatory.
Oh, how lovely. And a tree swing.
And a tree swing.
Alright. So, if you've got access to Lego, that's one way of doing it. For the older members of the unit, and those that don't still have tons and tons of Lego, because they get it every year, whether they like it or not, you can also try making it out of all the stuff that you've got lying around the house and in the garden. You can also make your model campsite out of just the general stuff that you find around. Twigs, bits of cloth, string, and stuff out the recycling bin. So let's have a go making a tent. Like that. And then we could use those on the back and either use sellotape to stick them in, cut them to the right shape. So there's a tent out of cardboard. Let's get old-fashioned style tents. Shove them into the ground. Ground's gone a bit hard considering. And of course there's always going to be the flagpole. There we are, and we got a flagpole. So where's he gone? Sacked. Lack of attention. So there's some ideas to make yourself a model campsite. See what you can do. If you do make one, send a picture of it in. We'll stick it on the website and it'll add it to your badge work. Are you joining in or are you having a sleep? Right, back to the studio. 3, 2, 1. So, hope you've enjoyed this week's activities. If you've do any of them, send us a picture, send it into the email address, 9th Ormskirk, the photos at 9thormskirk.org.uk. Net will put them on the website and she'll mark it off on your badge progress. Don't know where he's got to. Fair enough. Right, flag down then. Troop. No, prayers first. Thank you, Jesus, for this day, for our food and for our play. Now our evening thanks we bring for scouting friends and everything. Amen. Okay, troop alert, troop dismiss. Good night all.